Hello, hello. I am Anders.
I'm Øystein.
We're from Terravia, the Norwegian progressive metal band.
Yes.
We're here to talk a little bit about our latest single, Arcane Horizons. It's going to be just talking about the guitar parts, a little bit about the sounds, the history, the composition, everything. Just going to cover everything that we can remember.
Really. Yeah.
So that's it. We're going to start with the intro, I guess.
Yeah. So the intro is actually the origin of the song, how it all started. We started with this clean sound at the at our rehearsal room, where
Years and
the
years ago.
simplest thing is just a 2-string beat. And where do you go from there, really? How do you make a song? Like that's what you're getting, right? I was like, that sounds really cool. I'm gonna make a song out of that. How do you go from there? And so we just noodled around a little bit and got like that disharmony thing, right? A little exotic, and we started playing like this, and I thought maybe it sounds like a really stressed out clock. Like tick, 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 like a little bit too fast, you know? And so we started harmonizing with we started doing some really cool things there. And with all this in mind, we quit for the day. And we went home and I couldn't sleep. So I woke up in the middle of the night and just started recording some stuff. And we ended up with some of the intro, some of the main riff, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually the main idea of that actually came out of that start. Usually you actually start with this awesome riff and just try to write it into a song. We started like the other way around, and we ended up with this thematic riff, and then I sent out some of the riffs to the rest of the bands like 3 in the morning or something, and I didn't get a response. No.
How weird.
Like maybe a thumbs up.
Yeah. It was cool. We thought it was a little bit difficult to kind of understand all the parts at first.
Yeah.
Then we kind of course, in progressive music, it's all about kind of systematic chaos, so to speak.
Yeah, we just have to like pick out the good parts from all the ideas and all the chaos and all the like bad demo sounds. But that's how it went. And day 2 came around, and I had too much spare time, I guess. I just started recording some more, and I think we got the variation with the riff was harder stuff.
Yeah.
The riff where we started doing the bell chime. The chorus part started fitting in somewhere. It was probably not part of a chorus at all. And also the I don't know what to do here, so just insert part. It's like we'll figure something out. And again sent it out to the rest of the band, and I got no response.
Again, how weird. It kind of turned out that we needed to put all of this into context with the help of Petter, our vocalist, and acoustic guitar player. We kind of went through the parts, kind of tried to make sense of it all. It eventually kind of made sense. We had something that would resemble a verse, pre-chorus, chorus, some bridge, part variation thing that were kind of taken from Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Actually, It was a lot of cool inspiration from like video game music there. And we really just went ahead with all the guitar parts and tried to again make some sense of the chords, some sense of the underlying harmony in the dissonance. There was a lot of dissonance in Øystein's original chords, and when we came around to doing keyboards, we were actually working pretty early on with Rohan Sharma, which is a good friend of mine that is basically just like we worked together on a project years and years ago called Earthborn. So we went through the parts, and he was like, well, this sounds quite a lot like that project, I really like it. and he made some really interesting and kind of polar opposite parts to the very heavy riffing. Some really beautiful strings and pads.
Yeah.
So with that, we kind of got to the part where the disharmony became harmony. The song Arcane Horizons kind of became this kind of epic song, I would say, maybe the most epic on the album.
Yeah. Sounds very cinematic with all these parts being put in real context, you know, where it has an actual story going somewhere.
Exactly. So yeah, having said all that, we could play a little bit of the like dissonance and harmony of the intro riff. We will play a little bit of the underlying chugging parts that also came to be through our drummer, also called Anders.
Oh, yeah.
Anders here. We will then see where we go from there.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's play the intro.
Yeah. It starts out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the intro. The main thing there was to kind of create this kind of disharmony, as Øystein said, and really get into the main context of the song, which is like really just disharmony and harmony together.
Yeah.
So the next part that we just stopped playing there, it's the main riff, I guess we can call it. We really have a we call it a lot of different things.
The theme riff.
The theme riff, we can call it, yeah.
What ties most of the parts together. Usually come back to that sort of part.
Exactly. It's a nice little bit of a typical heavy Terravia riff with a Phrygian, I believe, scale pattern going in there. So yeah, let's just go right ahead and play it.
Sure, yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And then, of course, Øystein came up with a solo over that.
I think that solo is part of the demo, where it's like, there should be some intro kind of solo here, so I just made something up, and it just stayed that way. I were thinking like, we're gonna do something here, and then it just became part of what we heard, and so it was weird to change it.
Exactly. That was the solo. That's how it was supposed to sound.
Yeah. So sometimes just the original idea fits.
Sure it does, yeah. The sound Øystein is using on that is basically just like a delayed, heavy lead sound. We're both using XFXs, like we said. Typically we use Mesa Boogie amplifiers. This case probably Mark IV, I think, yeah. So that's the sound. Tight, chunky lead sound, yeah.
Chunky, yeah.
Really soaring, kind of a lot of gain. But yeah, it's make the solo happen.
Sure.
So 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the solo. After that, we get into the verse, which is also kind of based on the same riff that you had before, Øystein. The disharmonizing kind of pattern going, this time with a more high gain sound.
We're doing a melody that I was thinking of, where I thought I was doing the verse melody for the vocals. I just tried to play it on guitar, and it just kind of worked, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we figured we needed to have some chords over that. During the first word, we basically just palm muting single notes. And so on, just like straight up palm mute single notes. And then later, in the second verse, we'll get to, after this of course, but it's more like a heavy, like almost like a punk style, super aggressive kind of strumming pattern on the same chords. But yeah, I guess we can play the first verse.
Sure.
So it's again just counting in 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And then from there we go straight into the chorus. I think we'll call that the chorus, right? Like
it is the chorus, and this is what we didn't know what part of the riff that we wrote, which of them should be the chorus.
Yeah.
Until our vocalist Petter Falk finally just said like, "Oh yeah, that part. I want to do chorus on that thing.
Yeah.
I have an idea," and that kind of formed the song even more. Where we had a structure, we had an intro, we had somewhere to go, and then ball started to roll, right?
Exactly, and the chorus really just put everything into context again, just like finally something that's really just uplifting and conclusive in all the chaos. So yeah, we can play the chorus for you, the first chorus. I guess we can just start.
Yeah, sure. Just play 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. And then from there we go straight into, I guess we can call it the interlude or the break. It's basically just some relatively disharmonizing chords with a chug. Again, very typical Terravia style.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can just play that for you as well.
This is the part where I'm playing just some acoustic guitar parts, and I don't really know the chords. It's just like, this sounds good, let's use those. Do you have an idea what chords these are?
Yeah, to some extent. We had a real difficult time, me and Petter, our vocalist. He, like me, he was very concerned that, okay, this is kind of, again, disharmonizing. We're trying to figure out how the harmony works here, what kind of scale it is, even how the chord structure is, so that we can make a melody on it. Through that, we kind of found that it's all in B minor. It kind of goes into a G major, and then a couple of E major chords, kind of like it's a little bit of a disharmony there with a couple of, I think, both minor and major thirds in that E major. But yeah, in context, we kind of figured out what to play. Rohan as well probably had a difficult time figuring out the chords there, and then together we just kind of
Rohan.
Yeah, right. We made something that kind of works, and it's really just like dispersed amongst the different instruments. Later we also come back to that part with another guitar part where there's even more of those kind of thirds and defining notes in those chords coming out. So yeah, but yeah, let's play the first interlude.
Play it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
I remember we were kind of arguing a bit on that part because we have a cool melody. It was like, oh yeah, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
And then I wrote that.
Oh,
this
that's the
part.
one.
I was like, oh, that's nasty. I love it. And the other people were like, oh, that's nasty. I hate it.
Yeah.
And we argued back and forth with it. I really think that was like the part where we need to break something up and get back to like the explosive part where we do the main theme riff again. We were doing a lot of back and forth. It was like you were suggesting really diplomatically.
Yeah.
Really tried to do something else.
Yeah.
We tried something. I'm not sure if we really got it to work, but we tried a lot and then eventually just got back to the original idea. Maybe I was just too stubborn, but
it was this harmony there that really works in the context. Again, if you play that chord, we can play an E major over it, and it will just be.
Yeah.
There's something about this harmony there that just works. Like just an E major, that's boring. That's just like, yeah, that's it. But with that extra note, I believe it's either like the major and there's something going on with like
the A and A flat combined,
right.
And it's just one semitone apart doing this like really dirty kind of disharmony where if you put an octave apart, it would sound good. It would sound like just a 9 accord or major 9 something.
Yeah, exactly. You're right on the money there, because you have all of these harmonies in the song where when you just play them alone, they sound, kind of like disharmonious and weird, or even very heavy. It's probably the more correct kind of term. And then you have the super like clean harmony, very simple harmonies on top of that together again brings the sound of that song together. So it's an interesting phenomenon that's being played with here. But yeah, after that, of course, the various like interludes are slightly different throughout the song. This was the first one, and then after that we go back to the main theme riff. We go to the second verse, second chorus, and then we're on to a different part, which is, I guess we can call it the break or like a bridge.
Could be
going into the guitar solo.
Whatever you want to call it, really. Different part.
Exactly. And it's a really cool, again, like a Phrygian-based riff. It's kind of like the theme riff, but not really. Like it uses the same notes, but it takes it in a different direction. So I guess we can play that for everyone out there. Let's see here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it. It's really just another cool variation of the Phrygian-based riffing.
It is, and it just kind of walks by itself, It's just like a really headbanging kind of thing, and where the drums are doing a lot of different things to make it unique every time. I think that's really cool what our drummer Anders is doing for to put the song and that riff to like make it speak differently every time we play it.
Exactly, it's really just like almost like an improvised part. It used to be this kind of very basic tom groove that we had going, which I believe was made even before Anders joined the band. and it was just like, yeah, we need to make something that's different, that kind of breaks down and really just differentiates the different parts. And it brings it brings everything into the next segment, which is of course the guitar solo, the keyboard solo, and then the Zelda part that we like to call it. So yeah,
just want to mention though that until our Anders put his touch on the drums for that riff was, at least for me, part of like, we'll do something better eventually. And then other people are combining your ideas with their ideas and just making something new that really works. And I really love that magic about writing music, where you can present something that you think might be a good idea, might be like a replace this kind of idea, and then some people are doing magical things with it and putting it in different contexts, and that's what's really creating that music that is really good and really just warming to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
And to play.
Yeah, it sure is, and it's really just every time we make something at rehearsal, and we kind of come up with this basic idea of, okay, this might be really good eventually, but we don't want to overwrite it. We don't want to add too many parts. We don't want to make every like detail and every decision in that first like session. So that has happened many times, and we're excited to kind of show you guys the process there, where you probably will hear the first album coming out later this year, and then the second album where we have more joined, kind of like everyone is together, everyone is writing together. So it's going to be an interesting journey to see where Terravia goes with that. But for now we have the guitar solo, which is of course a pain in the ass to play. Very typically we end up doing like a very basic thing in the studio first, or like when we make a demo, we just go in and just make something. Don't quite remember how that solo started, apart from I didn't want to play anything but 4/4 for some reason. I couldn't play. The rest of the song kind of goes around different time signatures.
It was just too much, man.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to do some shredding, and I was like, okay, the 4/4 is, it just feels right. So we made up a very generic but kind of cool groovy riff, or to play a solo over, and then we eventually made the guitar solo into like a few different parts. But yeah, we can start off with just like the riff if you want, just playing the.
So we had a lot of variations on this riff. We settled on something that it's mostly the same as that variation riff, where wanted something similar to that, but not go too far away. And so we had something in 4/4, and it really slaps.
Yeah, try that. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Just like that works, and the
kind
groove
of walks by itself, and
and
it's really similar. Yeah.
we sure have a lot of groovy riffs going on there, especially with the drums. It just like it just works. And then the solo over that, if I'm able to play it, we'll sure try.
You want backing tracks with that, or
yeah, sure, do. Yeah, sure. Let's do it all together. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. So there's a lot of different parts in that solo. As we heard, it's a little bit of the groovy riff, then we stop for more like a melodic break, doing some big open chords, and then we go back into the chuggy part, I guess, or the jumpy, the bouncy part is what we call it.
Yeah.
Cool.
What was your original inspiration for the solo?
So it's obvious that I'm inspired by guitar players like John Petrucci, Andy James. There's a lot of shredders out there that have this kind of alternate picking style that I've adopted over the years. And I also wanted to incorporate some sweep picking, a few different things. And it really turned out to be this kind of, I have to write like the main melody kind of first, or try to kind of get into the melodic part of the rest of the song, and then add in the shreds or the different fast parts later, because typically when you just write fast part, it ends up being this kind of mess where it's not really any
it could
melodic.
be sloppy. It's like do something fast here.
Yeah, exactly. Just like insert something fast, and then just the main melody is really the part where it's important. Like the first note is obviously just doing that. Is just that's the main thing that people think of when they hear the solo. It's not all the shreddy parts. So I guess that was the first thing that had to come into the demo. From there, it was just like I'm still really just struggling to play this because it's super fast, super complicated, and getting into the different shreds, we just kind of used, I guess, a lot of takes and a lot of back and forth. Later in the song as well, there's a part that we just had to break down, I remember, just like into small segments to understand what we're supposed to play there. But yeah, it's really just like a technical layer on top of a melodic solo is kind of the way I approach writing solos like that.
And so you have this, you start out, as you said, with the first like long notes where you get kind of familiar with the sound a little bit, and then you go into this really awesome shredding part, and then you resolve again with these long notes again.
Exactly.
Right? And for me, it's just kind of a breathing moment where it's like, oh, you can kind of take a breath of fresh air, and then you dive back into the awesome shredding part again, right?
Exactly. You need to have kind of a storyline or like a dynamic change in a solo, I think. Especially when you have too much shredding, it just like becomes this monotonous mess, like it's just the same thing over and over. Too much
is like, it could be cool, but it could also be desensitizing a little bit, where we become immune to all the notes, all the shreds.
Exactly, there's no melody anymore, there's just like shred. So yeah, going through the solos, coming out on the other side, we finally have the Zelda part that is pretty much like a break in the song. I feel like it's almost like a breakdown of the most epic parts of Terravia. There's like an acoustic guitar segment there, and there's a lot of like heavy guitars layered around. Must be like 6 or 8 guitar tracks on that part.
It is. There's a lot of inspiration where there's like, we had this idea where it's like, oh, let's take it down a little bit, and then we had like, oh, but this part sounds cool, and this part sounds cool, and this part sounds cool, and so we started layering all these things, and it became not a mess. Hope miraculously, it actually became like really cool. We started blending all of these things together, and there's a lot of small ideas that you might haven't noticed even, where if you listen to it like 2 or 3 times, you can actually start to hear some things going on in the distance, in the background, on the sides. Yeah, and those are like small Easter eggs that you might find throughout our album, throughout our songs, where you just put in this like small fun parts. Yeah,
exactly, and it's also a lot of like the parts that we actually get to hear in that mix is thanks to Adam Bentley, our mixing engineer. That's just like you would not be able to hear that in the demo. I remember like we were thinking this is going to be a mess, and then he, for some reason, he was able to make it happen and actually have all of those parts actually audible. You could have them all there and they all sound good together. So it's an interesting, almost like orchestral writing way of thinking. So I guess we can just play a few of the parts. Of course, just being the 2 of us, we are missing at least 2, maybe 3 parts that would be there. One would be the little, that kind of thing. I believe that's not even the right key, but it's basically just like a little bit of a pole muted,
Yeah, it is kind of
just like a repeating pattern that just goes an ostinato, you can call it. And then you have your clean parts,
I do,
which
have parts,
really cool.
I think I actually play that on a rhythm parts with a distorted guitar just to cut through a little bit because it became a lot of layers as we talked about and to cut through those and being like this is the main melody. I think I actually had to switch to a distorted rhythm part.
I did not know that. That happened after the demo, I think.
Yeah,
That's really cool, yeah.
So some parts that used to be clean is now distorted just to make it, and this is also thanks to Adam Bentley putting in those suggestions just to orchestrate and putting in like who's the main character here.
Exactly, yeah. Really bringing out the details. And yeah, we can play that part together if I play the heavy bit that's like in the background and you play the lead, so to speak. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, it goes straight into the kind of galloping triplet.
It does,
yeah. That is also just like
just from quiet
super
to
breakdown.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And then from there, it's really one of the main riffs that you wrote in the start was like, okay, that we need to have it somewhere. That's really cool. It's different. And then it ended up being this kind of basis for a drum solo eventually. So it kind of developed into this whole thing by itself.
The drum solo, to be fair, is as a small history part. We jammed this out, and right in that part, our drummer, where he was kind of new to the band at the moment, he fell off, and so he just played something to get back in. So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna play until I find the one again, which ended up being like this long solo because he couldn't find his way back in. And the jam that we recorded that day was part of me trying to just program some more realistic drums just to have the demo going a little bit more. And so I just followed the chaotic drumming that it did, and that eventually becoming like, yeah, let's just do a drum solo there because that works.
It was freaking awesome. What it was. It was also like this part where we worked together on the like inspirational thing that was like, okay, the drum thing happened, as Øystein said, and then you had the guitar thing that also used to be kind of based on the drum solo, and then eventually kind of segued into its own thing. So they're not really following each other anymore, which is kind of crazy, and then they kind of line up at the end. So we'll try to play that as well and see if we can get through it.
Yeah.
Alright,
really
so yeah.
Chaotic part. It might be less chaotic with not the drums being in this.
Exactly, you just have to imagine the drums being there as well. But then, I guess we can play the rhythm part first, both of us, and then I'll go straight into the solo.
Yeah.
Right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that's it. And then after that, of course, it goes into the clean kind of post-chorus, we can call it.
Yeah.
Same dissonant chords as before, but this time it's like built with some choirs and some additional guitars, a really cool electric piano part from Rohan. So I guess we can just play through those parts and with additional guitar parts on top.
Sure, let's do it.
Right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically it, and we have additional things coming in after the second.
It does. It
Yeah,
does
so we have
builds with this drum coming in, really soft and simple drums, just to let you breathe once again a little bit. And
exactly, it's a really nice quiet part. Acoustic guitars. There's also like an additional lead guitar that appears on top of this
There is.
soundscape.
We have the keyboards doing some wonderful solos there. But we also, originally, before the keyboard, we had this guitar lead that was the idea to just, like, the keyboard could play something like this, right? But with Rohan doing something completely different, we still kept the original idea to just keep that solo in. And so we could probably try to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this time I'll play in 3, or count in 3, I think.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, beautiful part, and yeah, it really just built up to the last chorus. Really, that's the first time that we actually play like a dual guitar, kind of in 2 different octaves, and it really just lifts the bell parts. I think quite a bit. Bell parts being the little bell chimes. I guess we can call them.
It's doorbell.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello. So yeah, we'll play that as well. Count in 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. The end of the song just like fades into this kind of cool marimba thing that our drummer did. Very, very cool. And there you have it. That's pretty much Arcane Horizons done in all the different parts, all the different things happening. And we'll definitely make more of these as we get through the album. Next up, I think, is going to be The Origin, which is a song that's not out there. It's been played live.
Shh, oh no, you're
Oh
teasing.
no! So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And until then, yeah, guess that's it.
Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe.
Follow for more.
Yeah. Alright, that's a wrap.